Well, the poster showcase is over, and near as I can tell, a big success. Thank you all for your work on it. It was really exciting to be there and excited to see how your students got into it. Um, this video is for day 27, the Monday of our last week of classes. This whole last week is about tying things together. Friday of this week, you have a bunch of time set aside for doing final conferences. You're probably doing conferences throughout the week during your office hours, but that's up to you and your scheduling. Of course, there's finals week for conferences too. The big thing here today is checking in about the showcase experience. Hopefully it brought a few things together with them about how genre works, but regardless, it's probably an experience they have feelings about. We want to talk a bit about the future of the website and sort of public access to their work, how they want to deal with that and how we want them to deal with that. Carly just threw a ball at me because she wants me to throw it. And then to discuss Project 7, which is the author's statement. So we'll get to all of that today. Probably some good partner working time on Monday too. So starting with poster showcase recap. It'll be relatively fresh in their minds coming from Friday. The main things that I would suggest here are trying to either give them back their review worksheets that they filled out during the showcase, or if they haven't turned them in yet, have them hold on to them, so that you can do a little bit of retrospective show and tell on the stuff that they saw. So I would get them into small groups of 3s, 4s, whatever, and have them look over their worksheet, share back some stuff that they saw together, and try and synthesize some big answers here that they can present back to the class. Things about what were the common features that made a project stand out, made it good, made it interesting. What were the things that some of these didn't work so well on? They didn't catch your attention, they didn't keep your attention, you didn't stop there. I know from going around the floor that there were certain posters that had 10 people sat down in front of them filling out their worksheets there. There was something about that poster that made them work with it, that made them drawn to it rather than the one immediately next to it. Maybe it was that it was easier to digest for working on the worksheet, but that's probably somewhat a testament to how it was presented, to how it was designed, to even where it was located in the room. I don't know. But this is a conversation that you can really point toward genre, that the poster is part of the genre, but not all of the genre. In fact, if we look much more abstractly about the concept of genre, we can see that the physical space was part of the genre. The noise level in the room was part of the genre. The way the person was dressed and used their hands to gesture was part of this genre of how the speaker and the audience connect to each other and make this exchange of meaning. So getting them to really connect with that experience is vital here, I think. This is the best opportunity you're going to get to do that. And if you can connect it directly into the work they're doing for the web text, all the better. Of what will you lose translating your thing from the poster to the web text? What will you gain? How will your audience interact with you differently there than they will with you here? And how does that change the way you design or manipulate? What do you have choices over in the web text that you don't have access to in this live setting? So I've given you a pretty simple group discussion and share back. A second layer of that would be really great as well. Or even if you wanted to do the questions that are written in the binder as free write questions and then get them into the groups and ask them some questions about genre, about how is genre working here, what are the unique aspects, how does it connect to genres in other contexts, something like that. I think that would be a great expansion of this part, and you've got a little bit of time to expand, so it might be worth it there. It's a really probably the best opportunity you're going to get to hammer those concepts home. From there, relatively short discussion on their work being publicly accessible. So you should remind them that the class WordPress blog that you've been working on all this quarter will be made public, that anything that's on there will be viewable to anyone with access to Google. So if they are not comfortable having their work viewable by the public, that they should be prepared to remove it, or to hide it, or to put it behind a password, all of which they can do on WordPress. And in fact, you might offer them the password option as the sort of first thing you mention, because it'd be cool to keep it on there. But it's up to them. Presumably, since they had to publish it for relatively public view within the class, they're already comfortable with whatever's up there. But it's always good to ask. There is a permission for reuse form available on Canvas. It's a small thing, a few sentences, that basically explains we may want to reuse their projects they posted on WordPress for models in future classes, and we want their permission to do that. We might want to feature their work on the writing program website. Particularly, like, we'd love to get a list of like the best web texts together, and we might link to those. So just getting permission for that is nice. It asks them to put your name, just in case it gets separated out from your class, which it might well do. So pass those out, have them sign them, have them give them back. They aren't required to do it at all. You'll have an envelope full of those in your mailbox at the start of things on Monday. There will also be a set outside my office for folks who are teaching at 8:30 and have trouble getting into the mailbox because of that. So I'll have a subset of those there for you all. After that, you should go into talking about Project 7. Project 7 is the last solo project. It is, so for all intents and purposes, Project 7 is a portfolio essay. Within portfolio-based pedagogy, students are gathering a set of stuff over the sake of the quarter, and you really just look at the portfolio as a whole. This is the place where the student explains how they see themselves as a writer and how they see themselves and the work that they've done this quarter. So it's meant to be reflective, introspective, referential to the work that they've already completed, and looking perhaps to the future of how they want to continue to grow as writers. It's a pretty short statement for this, only a few hundred words. I say about 300 words. On your WordPress site in its final form, this will be featured under About the Authors, where people could click on to find out who are the students in this class, and they'll get a little 300-word statement from each person. Pretty cool. For their purposes, it's a 300-word reflective essay about their experience in the class and their experience as writers. This class has been focused on literacy. This is another chance at their literacy narrative, in a way, one that's more focused on this work specifically. So you can use all of that to characterize it for them. The prompts, the requirements are listed in the binder. There's not much more than I told you. The big question is why is writing important to your life, past, now, in the future? That's sort of the theme that they're exploring here. But you'll see the full assignment prompt in the assignment prompts document. That's going to be their homework, to bring in a draft of that, 300 words or so, for your last workshop in class next time. The other thing to draw their attention to, as they're finishing up their web text, is going to be to how they summarize it in sort of an abstract that's going to be posted on your class site. But that'll be the topic of discussion in class next time. Watch ahead to that video. Maybe you want to mention it now. It depends on how you want to time things out these last couple of days. Whatever time you have left, I would give to them to work on their web texts, knowing that the deadline is soon. So they need to have it put together and relatively polished by Wednesday next class. So they probably want to start putting some time into that here. This will be the last in-class work time you really can give them. So encourage them to make the most of it. They can work on their author statement too, if that's a better fit. But encourage them to stick around and get that work done. That's it for Monday. I hope you enjoy it, and I will be back in a minute with Wednesday.